Hi, it's me, Nick. This is diary entry 439, and I don't do them all the time, just ad hoc, And sorry, it's another one of those. It's late in the day, and I don't have any notes for this one either. It's been a truly emotional day and night for everyone. This was the event that we were all dreading. That they took the teacher, Jesus. They took him at night from the safe garden. He and his group of disciples used to stop and pray together. And they got their way. He's dead. He's dead. I'd met him well over a year ago, maybe 2 years ago actually. And we'd had this fleeting conversation at night time, sitting out by a fire, and he'd spoken about Moses and lifting up the snake on the pole, and how he was going to be lifted up for the world to see, about rebirth and the wind of the Spirit. As you know, it had truly found its anchor in me. I felt tethered to this man and his teachings and the way he lived his life and how he was treating those people that my fellow leaders were basically throwing under the bus. He welcomed everyone, like God would. And the miracles, and the compassion, and the strength to speak to power the way he did, and with no sense of inadequacy or fear or repercussions even. But we'd sent these guards to arrest him, and they came back reporting what he'd said to us about streams of living water flowing out of every person that believed in Jesus, and the other leaders were convinced it was blasphemy. It was clear to them that only God could say that, but it was clear to me, more and more clear perhaps. Jesus maybe was God, is God. So I fought for him. I fought right there in the middle of the leaders while they were frantic with anger, talking about how to bring him to his knees. I reminded us all, according to our Jewish legal framework, we cannot condemn any person before we've heard them and found out what they've actually done. But they just spat back hatred at me. I think that's when I realised they were not even prepared to give Jesus a fair hearing. I can't remember whether it was weeks or months later, but we caught wind about Lazarus. How Jesus had raised Lazarus from the dead after 4 days. Well, that was the final straw. That I could see it. I could see it in their eyes. That this one needed to go. There was nothing I could do. There was nowhere that I could go. No one I could talk to except my friend Joseph, who also secretly followed Jesus. He's been a follower watching from a safe distance, just like me. And as things got worse and worse, the two of us got closer and closer as friends. It was terrible today, the cross. Horrific. We had heard that Jesus had been put there, high up on that pole for the world to see, just like Jesus had said. I was not prepared for it to actually happen, and when my ears caught the wind that it had happened, I felt my spirit shatter in half. We had killed the author of life itself. What had we done? This holy man, this prophet, this priest of God, the one who I would have called my king. Joseph and myself, we took the spices that we would need to anoint his body for death, and we went to the cross to take down his body. I can't tell you what it looked like. I don't have the words to express how terrible it was. His body, limp and frail, battered and bruised and emptied of blood and water and emptied of breath, exposed and humiliated and beaten, raised up on that pole. Where was the victory? Where was the triumph? Where was the liberation I was supposed to feel? And I know there were no streams of water flowing out of this scene, just death and destruction and desolation. And when we touched him, he was cold, heavy. We wrapped him gently in cloth, like a baby, and we brought him with us. There was a garden right there with an empty tomb that no one had ever used, so that's where we put him. And then we rolled a stone in front of the tomb. Joseph went off home to his wife in tears. We were both just crushed by the whole thing. That was just before dark, but now I don't know how to put it. Whilst this has been the darkest day in the whole of human existence, still I've got like a secret hope in me that's growing. Something powerful that is happening to me. I went and met some of the women who'd been there at the cross, and they said that the sky had been dark. At midday, the sky had been dark. And then when he'd given his final breath, the earth shook and rocks had shattered open. And when I'd gone into Jerusalem, I heard that as he died, the curtain in the temple that separated out the very middle of the worship space where God's presence lives, that curtain was rent in two from top to bottom. And I heard that the bodies of holy men and women had also been raised from the dead at the moment that Jesus died. It all reminds me of the prophet Joel, who said that in the final days before God gives his spirit, all people will see signs in the heavens above and on the earth below, blood, fire, billows of smoke. Could Joel be speaking about the crucifixion? And why is my mind continually drawn back like a magnet to how Jesus went to the tomb of Lazarus 4 days after he died and simply called him out alive? So there's something happening, something stirring. I know that Jesus is dead in the tomb. I felt his lifeless form in my arms, but I don't know what to say. I know it's not the end of the story. I can feel it, like that river of living water Jesus spoke about at the Feast of Tabernacles. Like that, it's there within the heart of me, bubbling like a brook underneath the surface, waiting for something. And the rebirth that he spoke about, it's like I'm pregnant myself with new life, but waiting for it to, I don't know, be born. And the wind of the Holy Spirit that he spoke about when I met him, it's like all of heaven fallen silent, but only for this time, for these days. And I feel like the wind of the Spirit is building to a tornado or something. I've got no way to justify anything I'm feeling, but I do know this. This is not the end of the story. Listen, today is Friday. It's Sabbath, Saturday tomorrow. So maybe on Sunday, the first day of the week, I'll try to meet with some of the disciples and we can see where we take things from here. God has something he's doing. We will see it with our own eyes in the land of the living. There is hope. There is hope. There's hope. Okay. Good night.